So I'm pre-recording the next 3 weeks because I have packed up my kids, chucked them in the car, hooked up the camper trailer, and we are on our way to Uluru. Just setting up the tent every night and living a very transient life for a few weeks. So I wanted to finish this topic though, so I've pre-recorded. And this week we're going to talk about what exercise won't harm your baby. So I know that women worry. That's it. End of installment today. But they worry. They worry about training too hard. They worry about not training hard enough. And, you know, a lot of that worry is less about themselves and more about the baby. So when we're training during pregnancy, we need to talk about risk management. Now, there's very little you can do in the gym that will cause a miscarriage, okay? But the best bang for buck, so you'll get the best strength results, the best fitness results, the best health results, the best birth outcomes, the best recovery results, if you with the least amount of risk to both the baby and your body, if you walk that line of moderation. Okay, moderation. It is very vanilla, very bland, very achievable. There's a lot of scaremongering, which means a lot of us go into conservative mode, but conservative really it really holds a woman back from her potential. What we want to do is keep nudging that potential, but staying in that realm of moderation, maybe moving moderation as she progresses, gets fitter, stronger, more coordinated, but also regressing it as she gets bigger, less able, less mobile. Training to their potential only is also less than ideal because it doesn't understand the risks that her body is vulnerable to. So moderation means moderate volume. So you're not going to train once a week, but you're also not going to train every day, 3 times a week, right? If she is a sedentary person, then bringing that up to 1 or 2 or 3 times a week. And if she's an excessively high volume exercise person training twice a day, you might reduce it to once a day, you might reduce it to 5 times a week. So coming back to the middle and training, say, 30 to 60 minutes. If she was doing 2-hour sessions, bring it to 60. If she wasn't training at all, bring it to 30, right? Coming to the middle. Moderate intensity means we're neither working at a 50% barely awake intensity. We're not lying on the floor, you know, doing super light 2-kilo weights, but nor are we working at 90% of our max heart rate and doing hill sprints and that sort of thing. So we're bringing it down to 60 to 80% intensity for our cardiovascular training. And we're doing a mode that is understanding the fact as she gets pregnant, there's extra load on her pelvic floor. So do we need to add load on top of the load? No, we don't. So you do need to bring the intensity on the abdominal wall and intensity on the pelvic floor back to the middle as well. So you do need to load it a bit. If she's sedentary, you need to get her upright and moving. And if she's excessive exerciser, then you need to bring her back and probably drop the load on the pelvic floor and the abdominal wall as well. Okay. Moderate complexity means simplifying the movement. So even if you're training in a more diverse way and you're training specific to the tasks she's going to be performing when she becomes a mum, you also need to consider, you know, how these specific exercises load her core, and you may need to break them up. So it's a fact she's going to deadlift when the baby comes out. She's going to deadlift and twist. But as her pregnancy progresses, it might be necessary to train the twist, the deadlift separately, and it might be necessary to reduce the range of that deadlift to accommodate her growing belly. So again, walk in the middle. Someone who hasn't lifted before needs to learn how, and someone who's doing like major heavy weights needs to come back And then generally a pregnancy program will regress, especially in that 3rd trimester. But it depends on who she is. So walking that line back to the middle. And then moderate loads means instead of doing 20 reps, which is light or more, or just 1 to 3 reps, which is good strength training for the female bones and muscles, you might do that 12 rep range, 10 to 12. You might do twice a week instead of 3 times a week, or none. Okay, come back to the middle. And obviously this is generic, non-specific advice. We're thinking about maximizing safety without compromising her fitness and health, or maybe maximizing her fitness and health as well. Moderate exercise just means the least amount of harm and risk with the most amount of benefit to both the fetus and the mum. Okay, any questions, please message me. I will check them as we travel through Australia.